episode coming to you.
Yeah.
Dude, if I was going to buy
7-2 or something.
maybe. If I was going to buy more Bang energy drinks,
Yeah.
which I don't ever buy them because I'm just so hooked on Zevios. But I should start occasionally buying them, I think, because they're just delicious.
Well, they're fun.
They're fun. I would pretty much every time.
You get weird looks when you say, hey, do you want to bang?
You want to bang? Hey, buddy. Especially when you start,
Hey, dude.
hey, bud. Hey, dude. You want to bang?
Hey, dude.
I would probably start off with is it the Skittle flavor? What's it called?
Oh, Radical Skedaddle.
Radical Skedaddle. For anybody out there that's looking for a delicious flavor of Bang energy drink, that's sugar-free, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sugar-free. The Skedaddle flavor,
Radical Skedaddle.
Radical Skedaddle,
It tastes like a handful of tropical
fan-freaking-tastic.
Skittles
Yeah.
in liquid form, which now that I say it sounds super gross, but it's not. It's delicious.
Yeah. If you
It is.
ground all the Skittles up
Into one flavor.
into one powder
Yeah.
and then
And-
tasted it,
That's what it would be.
that would be
like.
Radical
Yeah.
Skedaddle.
It's that, and this is a gross thing, but it's that
It's like if a mama bird chewed a bunch of Skittles and then spit them in your mouth.
well, it's the Skittle juice in your mouth, that
Yes.
gooey
yeah.
slime that you're like, oh, that's delicious.
Ugh.
That's what it is. You're drinking cold Skittle slime.
Cold Skittle saliva,
Yeah.
straight from the mama bird's beak.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it.
They should just name that flavor Baby Bird.
Oh, guys. Well, thanks for
Oh.
joining us this week. We're coming to you mostly about energy drinks and saliva. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
going to
it.
be the main
Yeah.
topic of today, basically.
Yeah. No. I titled today, "We Need More Power," for so many reasons. But you guys
that's a
will see.
great title.
I know, isn't it?
It's a
I
great
was
title,
I was
strong
actually
title.
delighted. I texted you and I said, "Do you want to go live in 30 minutes?" And you said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, I'll schedule it." Don't do that. I'll schedule it, and I'll head over. And it's like, what am I going to do for a title? What am I going to do? We need more power. Like
Yeah.
it was just like
Just
it
came
was
to
there.
Quick decisions.
Quick
That's the way to do it.
decisions.
That's
Yep.
the way to do it.
Gut moves.
Dude, well, first of all, let's start with easy stuff.
yeah,
um,
easy stuff. Get it out of the way. Or
Power. Did you listen to the Power battery event?
Fun fact.
I watched
since
most of
I'm
it.
working at home right now.
Right.
It became science class.
Oh, great.
So I watched it with my kids,
idea.
and we got to chat about it.
That's
and,
a great
and the
idea.
cool things that are coming
Yeah.
up in tech, and it just became a long conversation. It's still a conversation
Yeah.
at our house.
So some
Although
of the highlights.
arguably it was before. So,
Yeah.
but we were all looking forward to Battery Day and super stoked.
Yes.
And I know some people that did very well in their purchase of stock when people sold
Dude.
before.
It's before the event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So this week, Elon Musk had a event where he talked about the plans of shareholders, and they did some voting. But then he also talked about some of the upcoming kind of inventions and encouraging kind of developments that have happened with the company. And some of the things that actually really kind of surprised me the most was the potential for having more affordable electric vehicles through their company. 'cause
Which
that
is
was
right
a
at the end.
really-
That was like their Apple one more thing.
Yeah.
That they ended with was, by the way, we have a plan to make a car in the next 3 years that is $25,000 or less and is fully autonomous and has the tech that we have in it.
Which is incredible.
Which I had read an article earlier this week. Do not have the link. Can't even remember where I read it, but it was talking about like what
Fake news.
what vehicle makers need to do in order to win this new market of EV. Right? It's not about the miles anymore because they're pretty
Yeah.
similar, if not more, than a lot of gas cars now.
They're practical now.
Yeah. It was this. It was the first person without subsidies to get below the price of an average car that someone would go buy off the lot.
Yeah, like a Toyota.
It's
or something.
done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
that person will have it for a while.
I mean, the amount of people that were watching that or heard about this presentation that saw a EV that's in the $25,000 range,
yeah.
that opened up their base market exponentially.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, even right now, even a $35,000 car feels overwhelming.
It does.
You know?
I would say the Model 3 gets there for a lot of like upper middle class
Yeah, yeah.
people is like, oh, that's reasonable. I might go spend
even middle class potentially.
Yeah,
could
I
feel
might
like
go, well, I'm saying like middle class or middle upper.
Yes,
like,
I agree.
Because
middle for
because
sure.
that is such a wide range.
Yes,
these
totally,
days.
totally.
So, but anyway, it gets to there, and then it's like, oh, I was probably going to spend around that anyway, and then the gas savings and the safety, it's worth it to
Right.
me.
And 25,000 actually. Here's the interesting thing.
I'm saying even at the 35, 37,
Right.
because I think it's like 37.9
Yeah.
lower base model that you could get all-wheel drive for a Model 3.
But the thing with the $25,000 one is that we still have a state rebate.
True.
That was, I
It's
think
not
it's
very much, though.
I think it's like 2,000 now.
Yeah, it
Um,
used to be like 10.
Did it really?
Yeah,
Used
or
to be
no, it was
10?
7 for a while.
Well, the government still has a $5,000. The federal government still has a $5,000 rebate, but not for Tesla.
I thought it was. Oh, okay.
So other like Lucid Air that's coming out with
Yeah.
one, Rivian,
Nikola.
Nikola, R.I.P., rest in
Yeah.
peace. But Ford's going to be coming out with electric
That
vehicles
dude
too.
couldn't get things working, so instead, what he did was hire hookers for his friends and,
Yeah.
and get canned.
He's like, hey, I'm going out in a blaze of glory, man.
Yeah,
I'm going down.
Where's that model that works? And you're like, oh, about that.
Oh. So Musk's one thing, boom, really cool, low potential price in about 3 years.
Yeah.
And he exaggerates sometimes, right?
Well,
Like,
I don't think he exaggerates. I think he's saying like that's kind of when they'll announce the tech. I would think we're talking like 5 years to your driveway,
yeah, I would think that's reasonable.
right? Which is reasonable to me. I mean, I'm gonna run the cars that I have into the ground probably
Mhm.
before I go
So
getting something.
the other
else.
thing that was cool, though, kind of the opposite spectrum of the $25,000 vehicle, he also announced his $140,000 vehicle,
the Plaid.
the Plaid.
So it's still the Model S,
Right.
but it's their Plaid driveline, which is 3 motors, and it's going to have their new, well, not their new battery tech in it that they just talked about, but it's got better battery performance and everything.
yeah, it has a 500 mile range,
Right, and a 1.9 mile.
1.9 0 to 60,
0 to 60.
and a 200 mile per hour top range.
Right.
Which
Top
is actually
speed.
top speed, which is actually important to me because I frequently need to go close to 200.
Well,
On Highway 22, it's safe to do that.
yeah, I mean, maybe you'll have another kid and you need to get there quicker or something. But it's full self-driving too, so you could just deliver in the back seat and the car's still driving into the yard.
Dude, but here's the thing I was thinking about. I don't know if you saw this. I wish I could have posted the video. There's a video of in Japan, or either Japan or China. Same thing. So they were...
It's there.
Just kidding, just Josh. But they made a video and they were testing, the country was testing the fully autonomous safety aspect
Yeah.
of it if a person was walking across
Dude,
the
it's
street.
ridiculous.
And the car, Model 3, a brand new Model 3, they were walking across and it totally plowed in to the mannequin with its legs moving. It looked like exactly like a human and it literally burst off one of the thing's arms and leg
Oh.
because it didn't catch it.
True question, though. Like, I think the question that everyone would be asking at this point is, the mannequin's dead, obviously, but how are the people in the car? Because the car is supposed to protect them, right?
The people in the car were fantastic.
Yeah,
They were fantastic. Actually, they were too busy on their phones. They didn't even see it.
Yeah, tip-top shape. They made it all the way to their, In-N-Out burger on time.
Yeah. So top range vehicle looks pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
The kind of stats on it look impressive. But also $140,000.
Mhm.
That's very much so out of the range of
So all those things are
99% of people.
Was that the rest of your list? I thought there was 3 things.
No.
Okay,
The-
finish yours and then I have some
Yeah,
thoughts on
then
it.
the other thing was just basically going into the ways in which the company was going to reduce the cost and reduce the overall impact of to the environment and to the difficulty as far as kind of the overall construction of the batteries
Yes.
and all the processes that go into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was just phenomenal. Basically, they reduced significant numbers that were then going to help decrease the costs of bringing production to the vehicle too.
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Was that it?
Well, and then talking about the new battery, the way that the new battery is formed is pretty wild.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So the thing that people maybe don't understand, because we've been stuck in this world of we stop, we fill up with fuel, and then we move on. Like but there's all these moving parts that wear out. People are constantly doing all these things. There's like the cost to produce a different type of energy is mostly right now in R&D, so research and development.
Yeah.
But the one thing that could have they need more range, which has always been my dad's complaint, and my own too, is like not getting very far based on how long it takes to charge. So if it gets 320 miles, maybe that matches my car most of the time, but then you have to stop for 45 minutes to charge.
Mm-hmm.
And I can be in and out in 5 minutes
Yeah.
and keep going on the road. So it's definitely, you need to have more range to make up for those times. And the one way they needed to do it was they had these spacers and things between the old batteries. So what they did was they've now created a battery that removes that extra piece out of the car. So one more thing to
The
fail,
spacer.
and the battery becomes part of the frame sandwiched between these two things, which is gives the car more strength and also allows them to push the batteries in further in the car for side impact and stuff like that. But absolutely fascinating to see their process of the main thing that I think that they announced that I think that people will brush right over was their goal as a company. It wasn't about the car and everything. They want to become the best at manufacturing of anybody else.
Right. Well, and that was an interesting thing too, Elon.
And reducing those processes.
His reference to you can the degree of difficulty of creating inventing a new type of technology or a new idea, and actually engineering it,
seeing it through to
the
final
end
product
is maybe 1% or even maybe less than 1% as difficult as creating a manufacturing process that is efficient
and them showing
works.
Like by the battery tech that they're working on right now. So it's cool and all that it does all these things. It has more energy, per weight and all that kind of stuff. It's cheaper to build, all that stuff. But the process that they're now getting down to where they're whittling out like lithium and the other stuff that they mix it with when they put it on the sheets has to be wet down and dried with their current process. And now they're working on a dry process. So they skipped that entire part. Basically, in his speech, he said, we're eliminating an entire part of a warehouse that doesn't need to be there anymore.
Right. And the reusable aspects they were talking about. So the old lithium batteries, they're talking about recycling the old lithium batteries now, which is a huge,
getting to the point where
deal.
we don't have to mine anymore. He said, that's what he said.
Yeah.
He said, we want to get to the point where the batteries are just coming back and being made into the new battery tech,
which is wild.
And so they wouldn't have to mine anymore. But even the mining process, did you see any of that? So how they get the lithium out, or they're working on, is they discovered that just sodium chloride, like regular table salt, they take it and they mix it with the sand in this one area because lithium is very, very abundant. Lots of people think it's not, but it's a dirty mining process like most things. But they just mix it with like a chunk of dirt, and then once they have the lithium out, they just put the chunk of dirt back.
Right.
And then it can grow back to the way it was.
Right.
And things just go on. It's just a very clean process.
It's a clean process, and it eliminates a lot of the concern as far as like ruining a natural habitat, because it's a much
I definitely believe that they're gonna meet their
method.
goal of getting down to zero, a net zero of pollutants for the company.
We're very close to. Yeah. Close to.
Their goal is zero.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how you could have a net zero entirely, because there's still certain aspects.
You're completely recycling everything.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you still have. They still have to use electricity. They still have to use.
But if they want to, in their speech, what they're also talking about is taking the entire country to a solar grid.
Yes, by using large batteries, right? Because they have to have massive batteries.
By using these large batteries. So if you did that, it's totally conceivable that they would now be just using sun power to create everything. Machines are recycling the old pieces of old machines to make.
But areas like the hard part with that is that it would have to be certain areas of the country supporting other countries, because other parts. Because Oregon, you would never have enough sun to last you throughout the year.
Net positive, I bet. Oh yeah, that would make more sense. Net positive. So you're offsetting so many things. Even your negatives are still made net positive.
Right. Net positive. Yes, that's a good way of saying that.
That's what Josh just said.
Good job, Josh. Okay, so
when are you ordering your
Why
plaid?
do you think... Well, my plaid, oh my God. As soon as I get a community behind me, supporting me financially,
yes,
I figure if we have maybe 6 families that come together and we could all chip in.
Yeah, for you.
And that's the thing. Like, I would be willing to give people rides if they need it,
Well, and test out the technology for them.
And I could tell them every day. I could shoot a group text. Be like, yo, guys, listen, I'm here to help. Let's talk about it. What were your questions?
So the one thing that they did not announce, that I don't know that they were hinting at it because the life of the battery was longer, but people were pretty upset that they didn't announce the 1,000,000-mile battery. That is the one thing that people, like the rumor mill was saying, oh, but we have this. and then they didn't, and they were upset. Did you watch any of the video, or did you just listen to it or read about it?
No, I watched some of the video. I'm trying to remember if I was at work.
So
or not.
the video itself, when
I
it
don't think
started,
it
I was like, oh, it's Cars movie.
Oh, right.
Because if people
Yeah.
don't know, like, they parked a bunch of Teslas out front as the audience, and people were sitting in them, and when they would talk, instead of cheering, they would honk.
Okay. So
It was great.
here's
Cars movie.
a question for everybody that's listening right now.
Yes. Who sent this to you?
And maybe no. This is just a question that
Oh,
I
so
had.
what's one that you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think because I researched it a little bit. Why do you think the Tesla stock dropped on that Friday?
Buy the rumor, sell the news. That's why. People
But-
sell news, that they're just trained to do that.
Okay, so you think it's maybe just a habit. It wasn't based on anything that Tesla said, and it wasn't based on anything that
Are you saying after the announcement?
After the announcement,
Yeah.
there was a big drop
It's because
in
people
the
sell
stock.
news. That's why. That's the whole market does that. They buy the rumor and sell the news.
No, but I'm saying, like, what was the rumor? Like, why do you think people were
So
concerned
the
about
rumors
stock?
were like million-mile batteries, like all these lofty rumors,
Right.
and they're like, oh, they're going to go up. Now, if people are in for the long haul, like some people I know that might be
Mhm.
listening, if they're in it for the long haul, then totally it's going to come back up again. We
Yeah.
all know that. But the reason why it dropped afterwards probably was just natural. It's
So-
natural when news comes out that things drop.
Here's some of the main reasons that they.
And usually people do it because they know people are going to sell, so they sell, and then they're gonna buy back in even more and double down.
Right, once the price is down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently, according to Fortune.com,
Hang on, Josh said Plaid has the old tech for the batteries and such. Wait for his next super vehicle.
yeah,
It's true. The Plaid is just the new motor system. that
Plaid,
we haven't
which
seen
is
in
what the
anything.
Cybertruck is actually going to have too.
The Cybertruck and
Yeah.
the Roadster.
Right.
We'll have that.
So the drop was mostly attributed to, though, that Tesla was. A lot of investors were hoping
Yeah.
that they would get inducted into or included in the S&P 500 index, and that
Oh,
didn't happen.
I got you.
They didn't include them from
So
that.
that's one. Josh also said the drop was the millions of new traders with FOMO, which is true. They were fearing.
They were fearing, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that could be.
Although
for
FOMO
sure.
usually, Josh, is people
Like, they would want
people
him.
buying in right as it gets to the height.
Right,
They're
they
like,
would want
oh, it's going to
invest.
go more, it's going to go more, and they keep FOMOing in as it rises and then drops. But I think you're right in the fear directory.
Yeah, fear
in the
directory.
fear direction.
But then the other reason was that Tesla also announced that it had sold 5 billion of the new shares, diluting the value of the stock being held by existing investors.
Yeah.
And so people were like, "Oh, you're diluting my stock's going to significantly go down." So boom, they jumped it because they're concerned about the
Yeah,
dilution.
and against that's fear.
Yeah.
So anyone that is in it for the long haul would look at the news and go, okay, this company is going to go places, and their worlds, they just put themselves 10 years ahead of any other company.
Oh, they're yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I mean, they were like
leaps and bounds
5.
over
They
a
were
lot
like
of people.
5. They doubled it.
I thought it was really cool that they were talking about, if you look at the top engineering colleges in the nation, that out of all the places that knew, like, the brightest and most highest succeeding engineers wanted to go was either Tesla or SpaceX. So they are getting all of the top engineers too, which is a big contributing
True.
factor to all that growth.
Josh has lots of comments here. He said, the
Your
buyer.
brother, Josh?
No, Crane.
Oh, Crane.
They were new enough to buy in a week, so the buyers were new enough into Tesla world of buying stock before, and when it dipped, everyone sold. So they got scared. It was new people to Tesla stock going, uh-oh.
Same thing. I think that's a factor for sure. But also, Josh, I just heard about this soccer battle that you have with all these young kids.
He had one last comment. He said Tesla took care of their cash issues, so it is no longer tied to stock. I don't understand, but
I mean, they definitely have a lot of stocks still.
Yeah.
Like that's especially they diluted their stocks so they would have more stocks now, but they cashed out, and that did give them more money, more liquidity. I don't know if that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Capital.
they're probably gonna buy back in, or they probably. Did
But
when it
I
was
heard about
sold.
your gladiator sock event for kids.
Dude.
I'm gonna bring my little girl there. I think
Yeah.
it sounds like fun, dude. I'm glad you're doing that. So
It was super fun. 9:30 this morning. A bunch of us planned to show up at the park at the same time.
bunch of crazy kids.
Yeah. I'll be real. It's maybe not, or is my opinion that I'm just super done with this lockdown. If you're sick, stay home. If you would be hurt by COVID, stay home. The rest of us need to start having fun.
Dude, On the same
Like our kids playing soccer.
on the same level of Tesla, you hear about Tel Aviv? What they just did?
No.
They're in the process, and it's getting close to completion. They're set to be the first city with electric roads to charge public transportation.
How many roads do they have?
11.
See, that's easy.
I don't know if that's actually how many. I was just saying that.
We would be
But,
daunted
like-
with just Interstate 5.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like, I mean,
But it's really cool because the
It's cool.
roads are going to, and that's for more. They're actually saying more for like the city buses.
so kind of like the
public
wires
transportation.
above.
No,
I-
but underground.
But underground, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to see it because wireless charging sucks. Like, it's terrible. I don't know if you've used
It's
it
not
with your
even
phone.
great for phones.
It's not. And so it's just not, you're not going to charge it enough that you're going to not lose battery while driving.
While driving. Well, I guess it depends on your speed
Unless-
and your output. But yeah.
Unless you want like your legs and lower half to just vaporize from having things sent through them, because that is just yeah.
Well,
it might offset a little bit, but it's not gonna be a perfect solution. And also, I think there's better options. I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day because I've thought about charging roads before. That's been in the rumor mill for.
It's been
decades.
floating around for a long time.
I just don't think that that's the most resourceful way to power vehicles.
I think what actually a good way
so
for
much
it, though,
maintenance, because if they had to get under, they have to tear that up, and then you have this dangerous.
I think a good option
Underground.
for it, and Tesla had talked about this as well.
Yeah.
Instead of having a plug-in system for the Tesla cars at the home, like a power pack, if they did have a way where you could just literally in the middle of your garage put a pad
Floor
down,
mat.
and you could just drive every day you park, you just drive over, and it just charges that way.
The problem is they're so inefficient.
Right.
Like-
You'd have to make it somehow efficient.
You lose so much of the power.
But
to
isn't
the,
it
to
wild
the process?
that there's that actually works though?
It is, but I mean,
Is it basically? Do you know the exact process? Is it just electrons
There-
jumping really
it's
far?
It's inductive. It causes a vibration.
So is it a
Essentially.
magnetic process?
Kind of. It depends. There's different. There's
I need
different.
to look into that more.
There's different
If
ones,
anybody
but,
knows exactly how that works,
but I
go ahead
mean,
and
like,
shoot us a message real
The,
quick.
the fastest thing that I have that charges that way is just like an Apple Watch, but it has
Yeah.
the world's tiniest battery
Well,
in the world.
earpods actually charge pretty fast. I've had mine charge.
They
pretty
do,
fast,
but
wireless.
On a wireless mat.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't trust it.
You don't trust
I feel like it like turns off sometimes because the light turns out, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it's charging. But did
That
you
is
know
annoying.
if it's on the mat and it's
Uh.
charging and you want to see if it's charging, you just tap it and the light will light up and tell you if it's charging.
No way. That's
Yeah.
dope. I didn't know that.
But yeah, that seems like so much infrastructure to put into the ground. There's got to be a way to make the cars be able to either that or just charge really fast. Like when you park in a parking spot, it just a little arm pops out and plugs into your car and it's done.
Dude, we got a lot about cars and EV going on right now.
That's this week.
This is this week.
It's-
To top it all off, to top it all
It's
off.
so much better than talking about wildfires and COVID.
Yeah. California.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Okay. Yes.
The governor of California,
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom, is that his name? Gavin Goober. I think that's technically his name, Gavin Goober. He made an announcement. What was that announcement, Jordan?
That they're wanting to pass a law that says they can no longer sell
Gas powered.
ICE-powered vehicles,
Yes.
so internal combustion engines, after 2035. Now there are some caveats. I think it's like delivery vehicles, trucks, things like that.
Mm-mm.
No.
Even
There's
trucks.
service vehicles though. There was a category for service vehicles.
In this, there's actually, you can see the actual text here, and it said, it shall be the goal of the state that 100% of in-state sales of new passenger cars and trucks will be zero emission by 2035. Now, yeah, maybe trucks needs more specification.
Yeah.
So
But I think that's like personal trucks. So like service vehicles were one area. I was talking to about it, but there is a caveat in there.
But
for
I think
that.
they were wanting like semis too, to be zero electric, zero emissions.
I think that they.
Because that's what like Tesla,
I'd have to go look at it again.
Rivian, all those, like they're pushing for those to be all semi.
Yeah. Those come in and out of a state so much, people just won't buy them in California.
Right. Yeah, that's
because they're
the
not
thing.
restricting you
They
from
wouldn't.
driving in.
Right.
So that's just not going to happen unless
But
it
I
goes
do think
nationwide.
that move nationwide would be an
I think
effective way of.
I think at least putting sunsets, like tapering off or
Yeah,
something
totally.
like that. I think it's totally reasonable at this point. Josh had made a comment about the roads, kind of similar to what I said, which is he thinks that the further the separation further the dissipation. Yes, that is completely true with wireless charging. So if it's something is further away, that receiver would have to be fairly close. It just, you'd have to be so close to the ground with a giant object to make it work. So it has to be close, at least within the current tech. Also, the road tech is bad, in my opinion. It's just a publicity stunt, which I would agree with. I think at this point,
I don't think they've created a good method for it.
No, they
yet.
haven't. I think it isn't. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a publicity stunt as much as I would say it's just like a proof of concept.
Yeah. I think if they could make it a good functioning system, then it'd be great.
He said he thinks that diesel is a different category. I think you're right. I think that I didn't read far enough into that.
Yeah, I'd have to look into that because there was.
But I think that makes sense. As much as people hate diesels, they actually are in a lot of regards better than gas-powered vehicles.
But also the other. Oh, that's what they were going to say. My dad just sent me something saying that they were talking about including. He's saying internal combustion engines in California that they'll start looking at instead using hydrogen-powered vehicles, which is essentially zero emissions.
Yeah.
And he thinks hydrogen's the real future, he's saying. And ICE will all run on hydrogen. So the thing with hydrogen, in California in particular, because it's the way you have to keep it cool at first, like the way they store it, that'd be interesting. But
I could see that as being like a stepping stone, but realistically, the problem with hydrogen, and at least in my mind, I could be completely wrong, it's harder to create and store than it is to create electricity. The process for getting electricity is fairly straightforward if you have a good enough solar cell or
hydro,
something that's creating
wind,
electricity. Once it's going. There is no other process to get it, and then you just have to have a way to store it and a way to transfer it. So like
the way to store it though is a complex.
But I mean,
thing that they're still
realistically, you could take a Cybertruck with with solar on it, drive into the middle of nowhere, and if you sit long enough, it's going to run again on the power that it generated itself. You can't say the same thing for hydrogen.
But here's the thing with hydrogen, and Toyota is doing this now, and they actually have a vehicle that's going to be for sale. That's for sale right now, actually. Yeah. But I'm not sure if it's in the U.S. yet. They have a hybrid hydrogen electric vehicle. And that actually is a pretty sweet deal.
To me, here's what really, I think, sells EV. Number one, it's the torque and immediate. It's there. Like it's on and it's on. And also is the amount of moving parts. I think moving away
it's huge.
From an ICE type style, which I would put hydrogen in that category.
Yeah, it is.
You have a lot of things that need to be maintained. Whereas a Tesla, not a lot. There is some, but not a lot. Even the engines, like I've heard of people going 100 and some odd thousand miles before they even change their brakes because the motors are actually doing a lot of the braking.
Regenerative braking. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I think that EV, the more simplistic
Ghost motorcycle,
the more options there will be over time. The more simple, the more people will replicate it, and the more companies will continue.
And that's really the goal, at least for Tesla, which I can respect how they're doing it. Is like, we want to make the best manufacturing we can, as simple as we can, as small as we can, and as efficient as we can.
Dude, I was surprised by this.
And so there's less parts, and when there's less parts, there's just less to make, less to break. I
was surprised by this. I agree with that totally. The Marlboro news,
dude.
I was really surprised by this.
I know, and I haven't read into this at all. It caught my attention. Them stating that smoking will no longer be a thing in 15 years.
Well, yeah. So the CEO of Philip Morris, which is the company that makes Marlboro, says, cigarette sales may end within 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers. That
I think there will still be people that smoke, but it will just go back to
what a change in 20 years though.
To pipe tobacco,
or actually more like
whatnot.
30 years. Yeah. Yeah, and it may change. It may change to more like cannabis,
or him saying that is
cigarettes.
Just a publicity stunt.
Or people are talking about cigarettes more now.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden I had this weird like nicotine kind of craving.
Yeah.
I'm nicking out all of a sudden. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I just smoked a pack before we walked in here.
I need my menthol. Get my menthol. I need it right now.
The smell of menthol. Yeah.
I need my menthol, my Swisher, and my Swisher.
The two-piece body stamping. That was okay. The moment that Elon said no aluminum alloys were good enough for us, so we made our own. I was like, it's Tony Stark.
So dope.
It's
so
Tony Stark.
Dope move. Boss move.
They made an alloy that didn't it could be like cold stamped or something.
Yeah.
So it didn't have to be reheated, which he likened to a potato chip. Like it would just like they would make it like, and then when they would cool it, it would kind of like curl, and they have to compensate for that. And with their new process, they don't have to, so it eliminates a whole process.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
poof.
And they had been talking about
Because he Tony Stark the new alloy. That's what happened.
He had talked about on the Joe Rogan Experience actually about how they were creating their own type of metal.
Yeah.
Because the current metals weren't working.
I'm
cool.
gonna call it now. Within the next 2 years, he's gonna say I created a new element.
Or will he have like a full like suit,
And it's
an Iron Man suit?
It's Element 150.
I mean, he's got Element 150.
That's what he's gonna.
Crap,
He's
that's
gonna.
good.
He's the next kid. He's gonna name E115. We're all gonna be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh
Get
no.
it, get it.
Bob Lazar got to him.
So the little bit of politic talk for this week, I'm going to throw off there that the House Democrats are introducing a bill to set term limits for Supreme Court justices. And this current proposal would say an 18-year term limit for Supreme Court justices.
Why 18?
So
when I look at that, I go, that is a very specific number. It's not 20.
Right.
It's not 15.
And it's not even like 3 presidential terms.
It's like,
you know?
It's not like a whole like 10-5 number like everything else is, or like 4. You know, we have 4, and then you can have up to 8 if you get reelected. You know what I mean? Like, 18 seems like I didn't go look, but I bet if you looked on that panel of judges that sit there right now, that eliminates a bunch of the conservative ones that are on there.
So essentially, they said that if they do 18 years, it would change the appointment process, making it so every president has the opportunity to appoint only 2 presidents or only 2 justices during their 4 years in office. So if they got in like the middle section,
why 18? That's what I want to know. Like why 18?
I guess if you had like
who
8
are they going to
years-
sunset? Who's on there now?
Oh yes.
So that's my question.
I don't think it has that specific. I don't think it's because of that, but I think it's because it's the overlapping of.
I
18
question
years.
everything these days from either side of the party here.
Oh yeah, you should. Of course.
I'm going to question that 18 and say something is suspicious about that 18. Why?
Yeah, they're explaining it.
They're not going to say in that article. That's
no, they
the
are.
thing.
They're
saying why it's 18. No. I mean, they might give you some reasons that they came up with as talking points, but they're not going to tell you the real reason.
Well, the other thing that was interesting, I was thinking about this. Okay, what if that 18 years there's a justice that dies? Like, what would they do in that? I mean, even right now, you know, we have to figure that out. But in this situation, what they would do is because they would have it in that case. If it's 18 years, you would frequently have justices that retire.
That's
right now,
true.
we're getting justices that die, but
which is ridiculous.
It has happened that they retire.
This
but it's not
one
as
that's been
frequent.
going on. I'll just talk about it for a second. It is maddening.
What?
That people like. Number one. As much as she did, and I think that she should be respected for some of the things that she did, but RBG had no right. I even would question that she even said that she wished, her dying wish was that they wait until the next president to appoint another judge. That's not. It's
a political move for sure.
It's totally political.
Obviously, that's.
And then people are like,
it's
not good if he does that.
That's
like,
obviously a political move.
But it's in like it. It's the normal process.
Well,
regardless if you like Trump or don't like Trump, any other president would be appointing that person.
Well, and it doesn't matter. Even if he appoints it, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to go through the Senate.
No.
Right?
It doesn't.
So, I mean, if that's the point. If people are getting frustrated about him appointing somebody, that's silly. The real thing, if you want to get frustrated, would be about that whoever represents you or your state, that they would vote against the way that the people would recommend. Yeah. So it's not the responsibility of the president; it's the responsibility of the Senate, who represents the people.
True.
So that would be or Congress, and that's where the problem.
Yeah,
would be.
I mean, there's a whole process. I guess my frustration is just both sides arguing. It's like, what does it say? What does the letter of the law say? It says he can appoint them. So don't stop it just because you have a political agenda. Like,
well, I think you should. If you have a way that you feel about it, you should enact that towards Congress.
Voice your opinion by all means.
Yeah, your representatives.
Super for that.
Your representatives need to do on that are addressing that concern more than anybody, which they are. They're talking about it and discussing it for sure. But yeah, so that was a big political thing, and then
Josh said, "I have no idea about politics, but knowing how crazy the Democrats went when it happened, which is true, and that's kind of what I was alluding to, is people went bananas. I watched
Mhm.
a video of a girl just screaming in her car that she died. Why couldn't she just wait till 2021? I'm like, okay.
Wait, she said, why couldn't Pelosi?
Yeah. Why couldn't you just wait till 2021? No, if Ruth wouldn't die until then, because then President Trump wouldn't be able to appoint.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know why I said
Like,
Pelosi.
okay, yeah, okay, that's
RBG.
insane.
RBG IRP.
Yeah, insane that you would put that much hope in a person. That
Well, I think obviously that person isn't
Yeah, no, they're not sane. That's what I said.
realistic.
It shows how scared they are, which is, again, it is fear.
But
And
I think
I would say both sides have
To
done
be
that.
honestly, yeah, it would be the same. I think if the shoe was on the other side, it would be the same exact way.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
totally. Anyway, so that's what I've noticed so far. So this shift will change abortion, and I think that's where everyone has gotten scared, because it's, go back to Roe v. Wade in the 70s or whenever it was 80s. When I remember 76. I don't remember. I wasn't born. I don't think.
Well, hold on. What in 1492?
Yeah.
Columbus sailed the
He
ocean
saw the
blue,
ocean
so
blue.
1492. Carry the two.
Yep.
And that puts you. I think it was
70
somewhere around the time.
something. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's what people's main fear is that now it will be mainly quote unquote conservative. I don't think they're necessarily as far as you would think, but that I think that is their fear. Is the
Yeah,
whole Roe v. Wade case.
I think
I don't think it's going to change that. With everything that's gone on in our political climate,
I don't know.
you could put anyone in there. I don't think that's going to change right now.
yeah,
Regardless of your opinion.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true, but I think that the concern that I have about it is I don't like there being a judicial system that is heavily leans in one specific direction. And so I do have a concern that if they,
But is it
'cause I don't
even,
know
is it
these
even
candidates.
now or mostly not conservative? Because that's
it would put the majority in the conservative.
right. But someone's going to have the majority, because there's
No. You would have.
Oh, right. Because it's.
Yeah,
I thought is it 8 or I thought it was 9. It's an odd number.
but it's already in the conservative majority right now.
I gotcha. So it'd be like kind of a
So
super
it'd be
majority.
it'd be
I
like a
gotcha.
super majority, and the concern in that situation would be I don't like people making judicial decisions and not having the capacity to be more down the middle.
Yeah.
So that makes me
We
hesitate.
forgot our mayor cups
Oh,
next week.
Bro.
Next week.
next week. Yes, next week. So that does make me concerned, especially if it's for in perpetuity. And that's where term limits make me would give me more peace.
I would agree. I think that it gets crazy when either side is too powerful.
and that's the thing. Like,
And
I-
there are people that would probably be mad that I even say that. I think.
no, I think that's a good thing.
I'm,
The people
that
should have the
doesn't
power.
Change
The people should have the power.
The people should.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm saying is you get people. There are people who have bad agendas on both sides.
totally.
And if one side gets going too hard, what happens is it literally happens every time.
Ugh.
Is we pendulum swing to the other side.
Dude, it just makes me feel.
It's
like,
exactly.
It literally makes me feel sick in my stomach.
It's exactly why we have why Trump got elected.
Well, and that's why I
and
hate.
it's why he will get reelected.
Dude, and that's why I hate that we even have to say sides. I hate that.
Yeah, I
crap.
know.
I hate that we have two sides.
Yeah, because I'm not saying oh my gosh, we're gonna have Trump again. No, I'm just making a statement. Like you can mark my words
I
right
hate
now.
all of the options.
You can mark all my words right now.
Yeah. With a marker, permanent marker, or
he
like a dry
will,
erase?
He will get reelected.
Permanent marker.
I will be super shocked if he does not. At this point, with the way things have gone this year,
I don't know.
we'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see if I'm right. I could be completely wrong. I'm just making a guess, but I'm that's my leaning right now. And I had the same feeling the last election cycle that we came up to it. Everyone was like, "There's no way he's going to win. There's no way he's going to win." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can totally tell why you would think that. It makes no sense. It feels like I'm watching a movie right now. That this is our option, or
Right.
one of our options to vote for." Although, I mean, they had a crazy woman who passed out when she stood up too fast on the other side. So, I mean,
Mhm.
you can voice your opinions, but I wasn't shocked. I do not hardly block anybody on Facebook. I don't care really what their views are unless it's to hurt kids or something like that. And so I see everything and I mostly just lurk. I rarely go through. I go through about every few months where I'll go and comment on some family and friends stuff and just be silly. But other than that, I just kind of sit back and watch, and I can tell you right now, I have the same feeling I did 4 years ago.
So like your knees aching?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, mostly my back.
Your back's aching. You feel like
Yeah.
like cold weather kind of feel.
My knees are weak.
Arms are heavy.
Yeah.
There's vomit already on your sweater. Mom's spaghetti.
Yeah.
You're nervous, but on
Yeah.
the surface you look calm
Exactly.
and ready.
That's where I was going with that.
Drop bombs. I keep
Anyway.
going, but I ain't gonna keep going.
No, you shouldn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's mostly of the main things I wanted to throw out
Yeah.
tonight. I got some, of course, TILs and some shower thoughts.
Dude,
but you
I
got
have
any other big things?
I don't have anything else big. I have some cool things that I learned. I'm going to start off in the middle because I think this is something you're going to find super fascinating. In Troy, the movie 2004 with Brad Pitt and Eric Bana, they did not use stunt doubles for their epic duel. They made a gentleman's agreement between the actors.
Wait, between who is it?
Between the two actors, Brad Pitt and Eric Bana.
Okay.
Bana, something.
Banner. I think it's Banner.
Bruce
I
Banner.
think it's Banner.
Gentleman's agreement to pay for every accidental hit. $50 for each light hit and $100 for each hard blow.
Whoa.
Pitt ended up paying Bana $750. Bana didn't owe Pitt anything.
Well, and that's why he killed him. And that's why Achilles killed whatever the other guy's name was.
It's so good.
Nobody remembers his name.
How many TLs do you have?
Just one.
Okay, I'm going to read another one then.
Okay, hit me.
So today I learned that in Japan, if a working day falls between two public holidays, that working day becomes an additional holiday by law, also known as Citizens' Holiday.
By law?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So I was reading through the comments. Number one,
So
let's point out something really quick. Most people in Japan never get approved paid vacation. It actually goes statistically, it gets lost or paid out so that they don't take the vacation.
Paid out? What do you mean?
I mean, like they'll get some compensation for having accrued time. I think that they made a law that they had to pay them for some of it or something like that. But I was reading through the comments, and there's people that deal in banking and stuff that do international banking, and they said sometimes holidays line up in such that people are off work for almost a full 2 weeks because of those holidays. And it's not just one person; it's like everything in Japan shuts down because it ends up being these legal holidays. Like it'll be like. It only happens every once in a while, but they all line up like just
But they're
right.
not getting paid during that time, though, maybe.
No, they are. They're paid holidays.
Oh, because they just required it.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the entire point of the article, or what you said. Yeah. That's crazy. That's interesting. Okay.
I want to box. Can we do that? Wait. What were we talking about that you said that to, Josh?
Okay. Jordan's having a little side conversation.
So, well, he just commented, said, can we do that?
Oh.
I want to box. That makes no sense
Box?
because I can't remember what I talked about
Side
2 minutes ago.
holidays? I don't
Something
know.
about hitting each other. Let's do it. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What was
it? Was to the Troy thing. the being
Oh,
paid
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It'd be fun to actually
Sure,
get, like,
come over and hit me and pay me $750. It's cool with me. Okay, go with your TIL.
Today I learned about the Anderson Electric Car Company. I didn't know about this. That existed in 1907 to 1939, and they made the Detroit Electric. It's an electric car that could reliably go 80 miles and per charge. But potentially it could go up to 211 miles, and that was in 1907.
I wonder how fast it was, and I wonder what they used
1939.
for storing battery.
They go into they actually. There's
I want to go read about it because it sounds like a really crazy capacitor of some kind that probably could kill you.
Oh, I'm sure the risk factor was much higher.
Like, where did Dad go? Well, it rained. So Dad's not coming home? No, he's not.
That is golden.
Dad is barbecue.
That's really good.
Sorry.
That's really good.
Today I learned Costco's hot dog. This one's from my mom. Costco's hot dog has remained $1.50 since it was first introduced in 1984. After the company president complained they were losing money on it, CEO Jim Sinegal put his foot down and, quote, said, "If you raise the price of the effing hot dog, I will kill you."
Debbie, great TIL. Fantastic TIL. Well done. That's a really good one. I like that.
I like how in this TIL they spelled out effing. EFFING. It's amazing. Okay, I have one more.
One more TIL? Okay, hit it.
And this one's for you.
Oh, I love
okay.
it.
The first two were for, well, I guess the Troy one was kind of for both of us.
Yeah.
This one is for you.
Get it.
Today I learned as many as 3 U.S. presidents and also Abraham Lincoln's son may have died as a result of contaminated water supply to the White House. Until 1850, there was no sewage system, and a field of human excrement called, quote, night soil flowed freely into the water supply.
Ooh. Ooh. That's some tasty water right there. That's some tasty water right there.
Good one.
Dude, that's Giardia grossness right there. Speaking along the same lines of old school stuff.
Yes.
Shower thoughts.
Yep, let's do them.
Medieval sex must have smelt terrible. Horrible.
Let's just move on. I don't even want to sit there and simmer. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, simmer, literally. Ooh.
Yeah. A microwave oven is an impractical but effective metal detector.
True. Yeah, that's true. But it also makes carrots go off. So,
dude, we had carrots explode at work and almost catch on fire.
Yeah, dude, they go crazy, man.
Oh.
Okay. You don't need a heater if you have a crappy enough PC.
That's true.
Or a large enough PC in your room.
Yeah. Or just a server.
Yeah, just a server basically.
Okay. So this is actually a thought I had today, and it's still formulating in my brain. But I was being passed by a fire truck, and I thought to myself, the fundamental services that we have in our towns are police and fire, right? Fire, like an accident, an incident, whatever. That's like very specific, and no other accident has gotten a predominant,
like flood.
Yeah, like the flood, or like
flood department,
nuclear, or whatever. There are departments that handle these things, but it's not like that's staple in a town.
What they do, dude, that's fascinating.
So we have police and we have fire, which is like, well, what's wrong? Well, someone's gonna shoot me, or a fire's gonna catch. What do we do? There's so many other things that could happen.
That's very interesting. But
I know that the fire, they handle other things.
Right. But that's an evolution. That's an interesting thought.
Specific.
Because that department now has evolved, and their majority of their business is now medical transportation, honestly. So that's interesting how it's evolved into not just fire.
But it's still just, was it past me? I was like, that's really weird. That's like the only like incident response that we specify and have.
Yeah, outside of EMT and...
But I mean, like, you don't put that in a town. You know, like, when you start a town, what do you need? We need a police station and a fire station.
Like, there's not much. Those are like
you don't
because they act as different in different ways. Yeah. That's interesting. That's a good one. Okay, so let's see. I think I might have one or two. Okay, I have 2 more.
Then you can read some of them. Mine are actually pretty good.
Okay,
I have
so
like 4 more.
Saying so long makes way more sense as a greeting than as a farewell.
Seriously. Yeah.
Right.
It sounds kind of mean as a farewell.
So long.
Or it's just like, I hope it's so long before I see you again.
Right. Yeah. Unless it's like a greeting that you don't want to say good, or that you're glad.
It's like
to
a farewell.
To.
It's like so long.
Yeah.
You're like, this one better be longer than the last one.
Yeah.
Sometimes an employee's most impressive efforts for a company are when they're fixing a mistake they hope their boss never finds out about.
Dude, very true. Very true. It's clever is what that is.
It is.
Okay. Let's see. Turns out that there's a bunch of people who want to be told what to think. And that has never been more true, I feel like, in my adult life than this year.
I don't know if it's been more true or just more apparent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, more apparent.
We all got stuck at home and our true colors shown.
It's like what is that? Trolls movie? You true.
I have not watched this. I know.
You're beautiful. Falsetto all day.
Doo-doo. It's a good job that our subconscious, this one's for you, knows exactly the right amount to loosen our asshole so that we can pass gas in our sleep without shitting ourselves.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
I've often wondered how that process works.
Well, it's
even while I'm awake, I'm like, why didn't I just poop myself?
Parasympathetic kind of response there, man. Yeah. That's wild. It's cool. It's cool. It's really cool. For vehicles powered by flamethrowers, hot air balloons are the least metal of all travel options.
Yes. Let's think about that. They're super flammable. So flammable.
That's true. That's wild.
The entire thing, pretty much, except for the motor or the
Right.
jet, is flammable. And there's no parachute.
And
I
it's
mean,
the highest-
there is, but you're gonna burn it up.
And it's one of the highest risk
Yeah, yeah.
areas you could be. Interesting.
Seriously, yeah. To finish it all off,
Cap it off, dog.
It is really easy to tell if someone has never lost a game of Russian roulette. And with that,
folks, we're going to head out, okay? All right, dad jokes all day, every day.
make like a baby.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Hope you have a fantastic week.
Oh.
We'll catch you later. Catch you on the flip
If
side.
you order a Tesla, let us know.
Let us know, especially if you put that plaid in. If you get that
Yeah.
down for a plaid for end of next year? Was it end of 2021?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I'm gonna guess 2022.
Money.
Yeah.
Silly.
Let us know.
All right, guys.
If you bought a car that's worth as much as a lot of people's houses.
Yeah. More than some of the Midwest ones. For
It's
sure.
true. Yeah, they have good deals over there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Peace out.
See ya.
Have a good week.
Boop, boop.